Hello, my name's David Edgar. I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast. And from the people who bought you how to fuck up a season by taking weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to appoint a new manager comes the sequel. It's how to fuck up a season by taking weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to appoint a manager too. It's pretty much the same as the first one, but if you enjoyed the first one, then you're not one of us. You know, what can you say? It's you could just go back and watch the video I did after the Hamilton game. Really, it's for all the new insight I have. We don't have a manager, we have a youth coach, and it was proven tonight when Neil McCann put on Scott Allen with 20 minutes to go to try, or 25 minutes to go to try and get the win, and Graham Murty chewed his zip. God love the guy, seems a nice fella and everything, but so am I, and I shouldn't be managing Rangers. So I'm not quite sure what the board are doing. The only thing I can think of is that they want to give whoever it is they've identified as a new manager an easy start, so they're just going to hold on till after the split and then we'll play the rest of the bottom six. But seriously, it can't go on. We know it can't go on. The AGM is coming up now. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be bloodthirsty, and the board have got no one to blame for this but themselves, because they have sleptwalked into this. They have ignored all the signs, all the warnings, that's come from supporters like you, like me, that are friends. We've been saying for a while what was likely to happen. They had no plan. We were saying what was going to happen if they continued to delude themselves that Graham Murty could dig them out of this hole. We're seeing what's happening. The team completely lost its shape as soon as Alfredo Morelos went off. And if you wonder how important he is to us, even when he's not scoring, then you saw it tonight. Because in the first half, Rangers were okay, I think, at best. But they had the better of the match. They made chances. Morelos' link-up and movement were the key to that. In the second half, when Herrera came on, and I tell you what, that's one Mexican Donald Trump doesn't need to worry about jumping over a wall. The guy's 6'3" and 3 feet when he jumps in the air. But he came on and basically stood still in the centre of the Dundee half for a while. And from that, Rangers completely lost any dynamism in the final third. We had nothing at all in an attacking sense in that second half. And you can't say that the commentator said that Dundee took the lead against their run of play. I don't know if I'd agree with that. In all honesty, I don't know if I could say that, because I felt that at that point it had degenerated into a midfield scrap. And if there's one thing we know about our lads, is they don't like a scrap, and you saw that tonight. Miller, on this evidence, he's completely done. The 2 goals at Murrayfield are becoming the Ricky Foster versus Valencia of his season. Tonight he was supposed, we were told, to be playing on the left. He popped up everywhere but there. He just goes wherever he wants to no effect. He plays 6 or 7 different positions equally badly in a match. He by far though wasn't the only one. Declan John, who I really like, and I thought was our best attacker, showed again his defensive weaknesses with a very, very poor mistake for the second goal. He completely went to sleep at that point. And Tavernier, I thought, was horrendous the whole match. His passing was dismal, his crossing was poor bar one, and then he didn't cover himself in glory. Danny Wilson, Herrera combined to cock up for the first goal, and the worst part was you could see it coming. A friend of mine actually tweeted me or DM'd me just before it and said, you know what's coming. And literally from that attack, Dundee scored the first. Josh Windass got a goal, and I'm sure Josh will delude himself that that's enough. It's not. His overall contribution was poor, and the fact is, you can only really say that young McCrory, who I sincerely hope isn't injured, because I think as Rangers fans, all of us, when we see something like that, we think Seb Rosenthal. You see somebody go down clutching their knee, they struggle on, and then you lose them for months. Morelos, if we're without him for any significant length of time, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, because you saw there tonight. And again, it's bravery. He puts Pena on the bench. I don't know why. I don't know why he bothered if he'd no intention of playing him. And the substitution, the obvious one, would have been to keep us playing the way we were playing when we were looking like scoring goals, was to put Pena on, shove Miller further up, and tell the defensive midfielders to sit. And Jack did that tonight. Holt was all over the place. I thought Holt, his booking summed up his match. I thought he was really poor tonight. And it's something we touched on in the pod earlier this week, is that players like Holt and Wilson, and thank you lads for beautifully illustrating my point, but I would rather have been wrong. This is what you get from them. You might get 1 or 2 good games, but then they will revert to the mean. And it's quite clear Murty picks the guys who give him little hassle. Maybe it's understandable, he doesn't feel comfortable in the job. But given that he's throwing his hat in the ring this time, I think we do have to be a little bit harsher on him than we were the last time. The last time he was in because that there was very little option, and he stood up as well as he could. But this time he said he wants a manager's role. So in that case, this is an audition, and it's one he's failing badly. I think he picks the guys who are less trouble in training, who just come in and are good solid pros, and that's lovely. But sometimes it's the guys, the Mavericks, it's the guys who are a bit harder work that have got the spark, and that team is devoid of spark. You could have emptied a gas canister there and been in no danger of an explosion happening, because that second half was gruelling. And the worst part is, it's not even shocking. Nobody I know is in any way surprised. Angry, sure. But even that anger is tinged more with resignation, because we're kind of being conditioned to this now, and that's the fault of the board. And the fact is that the fans won't put up with this forever. And it's getting to the stage now with the board where it's a dereliction of duty. And no amount of blogs trying to point us in the direction of what we should be thinking. The board have, and let me make this 100% clear in case they didn't know, you have used up now that you saved us from the Spivs card. It's done. Thank you. Great. Place in Rangers history assured. Wonderful. It's by now. It's time for you guys to get your finger out of your arse. You are not doing a good job, because you can point to the books and it's great. Fantastic. I mean, you'll never hear me complain about it. And you can point to all the stuff that needs done. The most important thing at that football club is the football team, and it's failing. You just can't take this long to find a new manager. And the example of it, if you want proof, you should have learned it last year, but the proof in the pudding, just look at Everton, who are going through exactly the same thing we are, because their board are racked with indecision. And that's now what I think we have to say that this is. It's indecision. And the fact that they didn't have a plan in place, the fact that nothing is happening, it seems to have ground to a complete halt. I think the support feels like they're being taken for mugs. I certainly do. And I think most of the people I know anecdotally say the same. You look at social media, which is a representation. It's not everybody, but you hear the phone-ins. You can see the broad cross-section of the Rangers support field they're being taken a loan of at the moment by the board, and that's a shame, because I think that the board are well-meaning. I think we all think that, but evil and incompetent, well-meaning and incompetent, it still adds up to incompetence, and that's what we're going through at the moment. And they're going to get a torrid time at the AGM, and to be honest, they deserve it, and they've got no one to blame but themselves. As for us fans, we'll go, we'll rant and rave, we'll pick ourselves up, we'll go again, but we're getting bloody fed up of doing that. You've got to give us something, you owe us something. Because we've been incredibly loyal, we've been incredibly patient. I mean, I should be on here shouting and bawling, and I suppose the worst part of it is I don't even have the energy for that at the moment. But for the rest of us, we need to go. We've got 2 big games coming up: Dundee, Hamilton, Aberdeen, and back. I probably shouldn't say that, I might get lifted. You know what Scotland's like these days. So, but yeah, we've got 2 big games. Aberdeen will be fancying themselves. And let's put this into context. Dundee have taken 1 point out of the last 18. Okay? Come on. An atrocious result. I like wee Neil McCann as well, and I'd be glad to give him a help out in his career, but really tonight was not the time for us to be doing that. And it was just another shocker. Yet another shocker. So it's going to make the pod interesting this week. Unfortunately, I think we'll have to touch on some other themes that we did last week. We'll have lots of extras next week. You'll also get an update on the AGM from us. So there's loads of pod content coming next week. But hopefully we'll have something concrete to talk about other than just this continuing slough of ineptness that the board seems determined to make us swim through. And, the Rangers support have shown in the last few years that they will swim through it. If there's something on the other side, it's about time that the board started providing something for us to come, because at the moment it feels like the light at the end of the tunnel is the light of an oncoming train. Thank you very much for listening. My name's David Edgar, and I will speak to you on the podcast this Monday. Bye.